Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely...
When I was 5 or 6, I was haunted, I'd like to say like visited, by my great-grandmas on both my parents' side and my great-great-grandparents on my dad's side. We lived in a house that had a lot of my great-grandma's stuff from my dad's side in it. Her china had her old knickknacks. And so it was just a common thing that we always talked about, that she was haunting us. You would hear footsteps up and down the hallway at night. Her rocking chair would just rock by itself. One time the Niners were playing, which we are huge Niner fans, and they were losing, and the hat kept falling from the wall, and we kept hanging the hat back up on the wall. And then one time the hat fell from the wall, and it fell and then over on a table and landed, which would not naturally happen if a hat fell from a wall. And so we would always just say, like, it's Grandma Ruby. And there was other things that would happen that we would say was my Pocky, which is my great-great-grandpa, because he was known to be a trickster. And so we had like a Barney toy that had gotten thrown up in the attic, and one time we were sitting there and it just started going off talking. Well, my dad had enough of it. He went upstairs into the attic and he tore the battery pack completely out of this toy. And he comes back and he sits down, and about 10 minutes later, the Barney toy goes off again. And my dad just had enough. And we would always just say, like, okay, that's enough, Pocky, or okay, we see you, Grandma Ruby, or we hear you, Grandma Ruby. Well, when I was probably like 6, I was sharing a room with my sister. And as she tells it, because I don't have huge memories of it, I mostly have retelling of the story. I would just be awake at night, sitting at the end of the bed, looking up, talking, and I would be having full conversations, and it would really creep her out. So she told my parents, like, I don't like it. I don't want to sleep in the same room as her. She scares me. She's just talking to somebody all night long. And so they had asked me, you know, like, who are you talking to? And I just nonchalantly was like, my Grandma Ruby, my Pocky, my Mom Grace, like, duh. And they kind of thought it as, you know, we talk about it a lot in front of her. She's young. Her imagination's going wild. You know, she just hears us talking about them being around. So that's why she's saying that. Well, then one day I was talking to my dad about it, and I had described my Pocky and Ma Grace's golden retriever down to a T. I had never heard about this dog from anybody else. I'd never seen pictures of this dog, and I knew his name, and it just really, like, shocked my dad. It really made my dad think, like, holy cow, she is really talking to them. I mean, I had details about them that were just never spoke about, and so it really made them believe, like, wow, she is actually being visited by my dad's side of the family. And it was always said that my great-grandma, Grandma Ruby, was very sick when my mom was pregnant with me, and she had told them, you better bring that little girl to see me, and she had passed away before I was born. So they were always like, she was getting her chance to see her. She was upset she didn't get to see her. She was coming to see her. Well, it went on for quite a while, and then one time we were at my Nana's house, which is my mom's mom, and we were going through photo albums, which you do at Nana's house because she has a photo album for everybody. And we were flipping through, and there was an old school photo, and I stopped and I was like, that's her. That is my other Grandma Ruby that comes and talks to me. And my Nana was so shocked, because never once did she think that it was her mom also, because they were both Grandma Rubies. They just believed that it was my dad's side of the family, because we had always said that she was haunting the house because of all of her things and all of the things that happened. And so it really, really shocked my grandma that it was not only my Grandma Ruby from my dad's side and my Pocky, my Mom Grace, but it was also her mom who was a Grandma Ruby. And that went on, that went on for quite a while. I think, you know, as I got older, I didn't have quite as open as an imagination, as they say, and I no longer really talked to them. The things like the hearing the walking and the chair rocking, it continued to happen in that house, but when we moved, even though we took all of her stuff, just didn't really happen anymore. But it's always just been a family story about the time that I talked to my great-great-grandparents and my great-grandmas that passed away long before I was born. And I just nonchalantly would tell stories to my family about when they would come visit me at night. I just talked to ghosts when I was younger.